Hello, all. Hello, one and all. So this is something I've threatened to do. It's not a reaction. It's not a movie reaction as such. I'm not going to play you 55 minutes and ask you to watch it along while I stream it and you can't see it, or selected cuts. Really, this is my own little way, and I hopefully you'll stick with me. I'm not really going to take recommendations to songs like I would songs. Really, I'm just going to put in once a month, maybe twice at most, films I've missed watching, and I've watched them again recently. My thoughts and my feelings and some analysis, but more of a way in which if you've seen it before, maybe to watch it again with a slightly different lens, or if you haven't seen it and you like movies like I do, I love movies, have since about 1977 when I was allowed to stay up after 8 o'clock at night to watch Hammer House of Horrors on a Monday night in the UK. I think it was 77, 78. The Monday night horror movie in the UK. That was like, woo, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee and all those, Bela Lugosi, that kind of thing was awesome. And then seeing Superman on Betamax, and my brother bought a video player home, a Betamax video player. Wow. People used to queue up to get in our house, me mates, friends, because mates are kind of a different thing, really. So what this is just me saying, here's a small clip, some thoughts, some perspective, and just overall why I hope you'll go and watch it, or maybe you can watch it again with some new thoughts. Yeah, but I'm not going to spend hours on it, just a few minutes. So this is Being There, the movie. It's from Brenton Barron's channel. It's the best scenes. Now, it's a couple of scenes, I'm assured. I'll know them, or I'll know the context, but it's really just to highlight the movie overall. And in it, I'll give not thoughts and feelings about the scenes, but a way in which you can revisit the movie, or maybe you already agree with me and it's just remind you to go and watch it again. But this is Being There, Peter Sellers.
Mr. Garner, do you agree with Ben, or do you think we can stimulate growth through temporary incentives?
As long as the roots are not severed, all is well, and all will be well in the garden.
In the garden?
Yes. In a garden, growth has its season. First comes spring and summer, but then we have fall and winter. And then we get spring and summer again.
Spring and summer?
Yes.
Then fall and winter?
Yes.
I think what our insightful young friend is saying is that we welcome the inevitable seasons of nature, but we're upset by the seasons of our economy.
Yes. There will be growth in the spring.
Bit of a spoiler alert, but the movie is filled with so many beautiful, rich scenes that it doesn't matter if we talk about this one. First of all, the setup is Chance Gardner. He's Chance the gardener. He's moved out of a house where he's been all of his life. He's a gardener. There's more to the backstory, but we're not given much about his previous life, but move on. Throughout the movie, we're told he's not who they want him to be. But that's the joy of it. It's looking through that lens. And there are other lenses you can look through that. So here we've got Peter Sellers, Jack Warden, and Melvyn Douglas. And in there he's reached a stage in Washington, D.C. where he's viewed as this beautiful mind who gives insightful commentary, but not in the way the world is used to it. That's one way you can look at it. He's a gardener, or he was. Jack Warden's playing the president. He's sat with big business Wall Street. Sound familiar? Yeah. You could look at this and think, well, think about the way we have this current existential threat around, AI. And, oh my God, AI is going to take over the world. Who knows? How long gone? This could be viewed through that lens, as they're talking to a machine. Yep. And I'll explain why later. And the machine's giving back answers that feel good, and they are what you want to hear. AI, at the minute, well, if it's JavaScript, it's just prompted learning. It's just prompted reciting of what it finds on the internet. So is he reciting the words he's known as a gardener growing up? Could this be viewed through the lens of AI? You can find arguments against that because he has empathy and humanity, but it's interesting. Moving on.
Well, Mr. Garner, I must admit that is one of the most refreshing and optimistic statements I've heard in a very, very long time. I admire your good, solid sense. That's precisely what we lack on Capitol Hill.
He's a decent fella, isn't he, the president?
Yes. I'm glad he came, Ben.
Coffin, I'll need some information on Mr. Chauncey Gardner's background.
Gardner, yes, sir.
I'd like it sometime today.
No problem, Chief.
When you view it in today's context, you could also say, is Chancellor Gardner a representation of the so-called misinformation, disinformation, that the political figures don't like, that influences of the people? The other person here being this economist who's in the movie. You'll find out why he likes Chance and Shirley MacLaine's role in it. There is a clumsy scene with Shirley MacLaine, but it doesn't hurt the movie. But it's interesting, right? So you have this, you can see when he's watched the character of Jack Warden. He's literally thinking, what the F is this man saying? But he's waiting for the reaction from the guy with the money and the real power, and he agrees and then goes out and says, by the way, I want to know everything about him. Sound familiar? But I think the movie runs deeper than that, and it transcends that, and there's ways in which it does later in scenes. Why I would ask you to go and watch it is not by some of what you perceive as the use and ugliness of human beings. There's some beautiful moments in there, and hopefully you'll stick with me.
Chauncey Gardner, Mr. Rand's close friend and advisor, was at the meeting this morning. I found Mr. Gardner to have a feeling for this country that we need more of. To quote Mr. Gardner, a most intuitive man, as long as the roots of industry remain firmly planted in the national soil, the economic prospects are undoubtedly sunny.
Oh.
Gentlemen.
So that's that AI thing, isn't it? You can rudimental AI, because it's still rudimental, even though it's brilliantly fast, does things in a picosecond. It still gets it wrong. You still have to prompt it. Well, that was the president prompting the nation with what he's taken from this meeting. He knows there's something not right, but he turns it to his advantage. So is Peter Sellers a representation of what we have with AI now? Maybe not. But you could certainly play around with that idea in your head when you look at AI. Yeah, and think it's this big existential threat. But this movie is deeper than that. And then you got the next scene, part of the scene, which is... Stick with me, guys.
Let's not fear the inevitable chill and storms of autumn and winter. Instead, let us anticipate the rapid growth of springtime. Let us await the rewards of summer. As in a garden of the earth, let us learn to accept and appreciate the times when the trees are bare, as well as the times when we pick the fruit.
Yes,
It's for sure a white man's world in America.
it is possible to be flooded in one part and
Yeah.
the other.
I raised
dry.
that boy
It
since
is
he was the size of a piston.
of the gardener.
But I'll say right now he never learned to read and write. No, sir.
and
Had
lead
no
the
brains
way
at all.
to the areas
The
that are
stuff with
dry.
rice pudding between the ears.
It is the responsibility of the
Shortchanged by
gardener
the Lord and dumb as a
never
jackass.
plant a sun-loving
Look at him now.
in the shade of a
Yes,
high
sir.
wall.
All you gotta be is white in America
Everything
to get
will turn
whatever
out
you want.
fine.
Before we break, what sort of gardener would you be, Mr. Gardner?
I am a very serious gardener.
And
I'm
he
sure
is.
you are, Mr. Gardner. I'm sure you are.
Remarkable.
Well, we'll be right
Mr. Gardner, what was your reaction to the Post's editorial on the president's speech?
I did not read that.
But, sir, you must have at least glanced at it.
I did not glance at it.
Mr. Gardner, the New York Times spoke of your peculiar brand of optimism. What was your reaction to that?
I do not know what it means.
Sorry to persist, sir, but it would be of great interest to me to know just what newspapers you do read.
See, he's struggling. He doesn't know how to answer. He's done situational conversations before clearly in his life as the gardener, but he's not sure where to go with this, and he's reaching into his memory. So he's obviously got some intellect. So you can view this through nature nurture. You can view it through the nature nurture in inherited genetics, personality, warmth, empathy. But you can see, so he has some level of intellect because he's a rabbit in the headlights there. He doesn't know how to answer. But listen further.
I do not read papers. I watch TV.
Do you mean, Mr. Gardner, that you find television's coverage of the news superior to that of the newspapers?
I like to watch TV.
Thank you, Mr. Gardner.
You're welcome.
Well,
So again, the media there, taken from him and turn it into what they want. And in the movie, everybody wants something, but they don't know what they're looking for. And it's one of those films where Peter Sellers's performance is so, and trust me, there are some brilliant movie critics out there. I'm just going to hopefully give you some reasons to go and watch it again or watch it for the first time. You can watch this movie as if it's the deepest, darkest black comedy you've ever seen, because it's clearly played out through the lens of cognitive impairment. There's all sorts you can read from it. But it's so beautiful in the warmth, the potential warmth and obvious warmth you can get from someone regardless of ability. Look for the personality. And there's a scene in here which has got contention in it. I've put a description in the trailer bit where I talk about the end scene. The whole movie can be viewed through many lenses: psychological, nature, nurture, AI, computer, media, greed, vulnerability, exploitation. Just view it through the fact that if you look at it and ask yourself, how would I be with this person? How would they be in my life? And the pure gentleness of the character a role Peter Sellers was born to play. My favourite part he's ever played. Yes, above Doctor Strangelove. So, it's not a reaction. It's not an overall critique. It's just my way of saying, go and watch it again, guys, and think about it. If you've seen it, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it, because if you love movies, if you love a deeper thinking beyond the surface, but also just like to be drawn in by the character, Shirley MacLaine is good, Melvin Douglas is good, Jack Warden is good. Yeah, the whole thing has a push and pull where you want to scream at them, but you also understand their desperation. You want to shout out. There's different lenses you can watch this movie, but when it pulls together, yeah, it's essentially about human transcendence. Yeah, the human spirit. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back with others. If I've got it all wrong, I will get the format better. It's just my first time. I don't spend hours rehearsing. Take care, guys. Stick with me. Subscribe if you like. If you want more, let me know.